The Hard Truth, Season 9 with Akosia Konedu. Proudly brought to you by EcoBank.
Good evening and welcome to The Hard Truth. Now, the NPP has stated that its handling of the economy far supersedes that of the NDC and has listed some evidence to back their claims. We'll be talking about the 2016 budget and financial statement, internal wranglings of the NPP, and the president's recent comments on his incompetence by critics, and many more. Honorable Dominic Nitiwul, Member of Parliament for Bimbilla and the Deputy Minority Leader, is my guest. This is The Hard Truth and is proudly brought to you by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. My name is Nana Akosia Konedu. Welcome to The Hard Truth, second time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You look well.
Well, I have to. At least for my wife and my family.
Oh my goodness, and for your constituents, I'm guessing.
That's more important when it comes to politics. For my
That's great.
It's very important.
That's great. That's great. Now, the NPP has stated that its handling of the economy far supersedes that of the NDC and has listed some achievements of to buttress the point. And number one, total revenue, NDC 200, and that of NPP, it's 20 billion. That's a 200 billion as against 20 billion. Economic growth is about 8% in 2008 and to 3.5 in 2015. Capital expenditure is that was about 9.1 and then now to 4.8 in 2005. Cocoa exports, NDC 17 billion, NPP 7.4. Now gold exports on the NDC other hand, it's about 28 billion and NPP 9 billion. Oil exports, maybe you can go on and on and on. What can you say about this? Are these strong statements enough comparing this? I mean, why would you compare this?
First of all, the NDC has always said that we should compare records to see which political party, given the amount of resources that they've had, has been able to perform. And what we just did was bring out the bare facts that the overall total revenue the NDC has had so far, you know, and remember that they still have one more year, has been 200 billion. Over the 7 years they've been in office. That's Mills, then Mahama. And then the 8 years of President Kufuor, of the total revenue we have had.
But why would you even compare? I mean, let's compare last time, from 2000, when did Kufuor come to power?
2001.
Why? To 2001 to 2008. But how can we compare?
But if you don't compare, you will not be able to judge who's the better manager of the economy.
No, but the times have changed. So things, cocoa prices there now can't be the same.
No,
Isn't
but that's the reason
factor?
why you should compare.
But time could be a factor too.
No,
things change.
But that's the reason why you should compare. You should compare and juxtapose the time period they had and the resources NPP had with this time period and what the NDC is having.
But if, let's say we had two presidents at that time, so let's say, I mean, I'm thinking that if we had two presidents, so NPP president, NDC president, and I'm giving the same money, that we can compare. But if times change, 2001, 2008, now from 2008 to 2014, I mean, times have changed and it's a very wide gap.
No, an NPP person rather should say that, well, times have changed for the better, and for that matter, we should not even compare. But it's the NPP that is even comparing. Because the NDC should be happy they're comparing because they have had all the resources, they have had all the oil revenue. In fact, the boost of the oil revenue on the economy, the fact that you use oil as a springboard to build on the economy, the fact that the average Ghanaian itself has been able to have the ability of getting more educated and going outside and bringing more resources, the FDIs. If you check all this, it is the NDC that should even be trying to say, let's compare. And the NPP should run away from comparison.
Now, the NPP has always asked and accused the NDC of huge borrowings and yet don't see where the Ghana is going or the monies are going. Now, the president has also accused MPP sleeping in parliament since the loans come to parliament. And you rebuff that.
I just think that the president got it all wrong. That's why I said I was not going to go into that gutter with him, because he's been an MP he was an MP for 12 years. And he knows clearly that revenues that are raised internally, especially through bonds, treasury bills, and promissory notes and agreements that they don't bring it to Parliament. He knows very well. And he knows that his government has borrowed hugely over the last year. For example, they borrowed over 25 billion Ghana cedi. They didn't bring it to Parliament. He knows that. Over the current bill that we have, that is the debt profile we have, is about 100 billion Ghana cedi. It moved from 9.5 billion when Kufuor left office. Today it's about 100 billion Ghana cedi. Half of that resource, it never came to Parliament, because they borrowed it through treasury bills that you and myself go to buy. They borrowed it through bonds and other things that they do. And it didn't come to Parliament. The Bank of Ghana gives them grants. The Bank of Ghana gives them money. It doesn't come to Parliament. I'll give you an example. The infamous SADA 200 million that was raised. They were able to raise about 165 million out of the 200 million. It didn't come to Parliament. Until the money was expended and we decided to ask for it, nobody even knew that such money was raised and given to SADA people, because they raised bonds. They went to the board. But is
that right?
No, that's what the law is. If you go to the market, if you go to the secondary market, you go to Ghana Stock Exchange, and they raise money from there, and what they normally do, if they do treasury bills and they don't come to Parliament. We don't know what they use the money for. Like the president said, item by item definition of what you're going to do. We don't know it. All the resources that they were raising for roads, and the former finance minister, we've raised 400 million for roads here, we've raised 200 million for roads here, we're raising bonds here to build this. They don't bring it to Parliament, because that's what the law says. But any external agreement...
I'm asking, is that right?
That's what the law is.
Yes, but I mean, that's the law. But
I have always said that that's wrong. I've always said that government should bring every loan agreement to Parliament, whether it's internal or external. Government should bring every financial transaction they bring to Parliament, because the people must approve it. If the people don't approve it, we have what we are having now. That half of the loan stock that is on our books today, the people didn't know anything about it. They never approved it. Even the other half, which was approved in Parliament, normally through external loans that were approved in Parliament, the minority kicked against about 6 or 7 of them. But still, it got approved because the majority have the numbers. I'll give you an example. The XCS, for example, walked out. Recently, 350 million came VFB loan that was supposed to be used to purchase some military equipment. We said it was too exorbitant, it was too expensive. They inflated the projects, and we just walked out because we didn't have the numbers.
I have a problem with the walking out. I mean, why would you walk out? I mean, is it like we don't know what word to use, but it doesn't really look proper to just walk out in negotiating.
In Parliament, you're not negotiating. In Parliament, you have only some tools left to you. You can make a sit down, you can walk out, you can do a press conference, you can do a boycott, or you can vote against. What we have always consistently done is to argue our points and come to the decision when we are going to decide, that is to vote. We always know we will lose, we don't have the numbers. And to make our point very strong, we walk out and let the whole world know that we're so against it that we decided not to participate and walk out. But we always make the point to talk, make our points. So if you go to the hands, you will see the position of the minority.
I mean, we have, let's say an NPP comes to power in 2016 and you get the majority in Parliament. Won't that be a conk thing that, since you are in the majority and the minority says something, you're going to boycott, even when the decision is good? Now, when will we get to a point where decisions are put into Parliament, whether good or not, whether the opposition or the incumbent knows it's right or not? All of you know this is the right thing, and then we'll do it. Now, when you come to power, I'm sure the same thing is going to be done. So what can you say?
It may not necessarily be so.
Really?
During our time, and even now, some things have come to Parliament, and the Parliament has decided to shelve it. They will normally not vote against it because they don't want to embarrass the president. Because you see, every loan or every agreement that comes to Parliament, it passes through cabinet. The cabinet will have its cabinet subcommittee and work on it. Then cabinet will have to vote, and then it will come to parliament in the form of the agreement with a cabinet memo. Anything that doesn't come with a cabinet memo, parliament, especially a loan agreement, parliament doesn't consider it. So it will have to come with a cabinet memo explaining the rationale for the loan and when cabinet approved it. So whatever you see in parliament, cabinet has approved of it. That's how it is. It then comes to parliament. It is the duty of the MPs to scrutinize what cabinet has done.
Yes, and then because you are in a minority, even if it's a good thing, no,
it's not.
Oh no, we won't support it.
No,
because it's coming from the majority.
You check 90% of what we do in parliament is by consensus. 90%, yes. 90% of what we do in parliament, whether it's loan approval, whether it's parliamentary work, whether it is bills, it is always by consensus. We agree among ourselves. But there are some that we disagree, and we disagree strongly.
We'll be right back.
The Hard Truth, Season 9 with Akosia Konedu, proudly brought to you by EcoBank.
EcoBank, we see a great future, one that's full of opportunity for those who want to be the best. With over 1,000 branches of a single bank across 33 African countries, it's a future where trade can flourish without boundaries. The future is breathtaking, with enormous cross-border investments helping business and government build new infrastructure, while individuals achieve their ambitions right across Africa. The future is Pan-African, and EcoBank is the Pan-African bank.
Don't we need a third body? I mean, I've been thinking about this, and I was telling my guys here that don't Ghana need like a third force? We have the majority, we have the parliament, but don't we necessarily need an independent, board? And when you make your arguments and all, it's passed, that they take the final decision and present to you. Don't you think we need to get to that point?
We don't need to have.
Well, you think your powers is what?
No,
minimized or limited?
It's not about powers. Ghana has a constitution, and that's what we're working with now. And the constitution is very clear. The winner takes all. Whoever wins forms the government.
Shouldn't that be amended?
I'm coming. Whoever wins forms the government. Then you take your program to parliament. The parliamentarians will argue out and make a point. And when the decision is taken, it's taken as a parliament. That's what the president says what he's saying. He knows clearly there are some laws that the minority have disagreed, but because parliament approved of it, he says it is parliament.
Right.
Even though he knows the minority may have voted against or walked out, but he still says it's parliament. So parliament would approve, then give it to executive to execute whatever they have done. There's no other way you can turn around and talk about third force to do what? Is it the upper chamber? Is it the upper chamber or what?
I guess something like that.
You ask the countries that have the upper chamber, there's always a problem between the lower and the upper chamber, just like the House of Chiefs. Now, when there's a critical decision, it comes back to the lower house to take it. That is the MPs. So you can have senators like in America, and then we have the MPs. Now in Ghana, for example, you most likely will have about maybe say 20 senators or 60 senators. That is, or 60 senators, or say 100 senators. That's like 10 senators per each region. So you can decide, okay, we'll give each region 10 senators. So they vote and come. These 10 people. There are some things that need. And then, so the cross balance. There are some things that the senators will do and needs to be approved by the lower house. So it comes to the lower house, it's approved. It goes to the upper. So they're just building more.
So we don't need that. We don't need that. Now, in relation to government spending, the NPP made accusations of government overspending, particularly in the 2012 election, and which included 200 million of NYEPG, 650 million of offices to government machinery and all. Now, though government has made light to the accusations, there are fears that some can be expected of a 2016 election, particularly the government seeking to push projects through. What can you say about that? What would you
after
think would happen?
overspending, the government will overspend. Nobody should believe the president and the minister of finance when they say that they will not overspend. It's not true. What we are against is shooting beyond what Parliament has given you. If you come to Parliament and say the budget is 45 billion, stick to the 45 billion. This, you see, the argument they are saying now, which is true, is that, well, you gave us 38 billion Ghana cedi to spend. We spend within the 38 billion Ghana cedi. The only thing is that we staff some agencies and sent the money to the president to spend. That's what they did. Instead of sending money to maybe Ministry A, they didn't give the amount of money the ministry should have, and rather took it to the office of government, and they spent beyond their means. We say that it is bad governance. It's not good. Give it to the ministries that will work and generate employment for people, the ministry that will regenerate and bring in more money for you. If the Ministry of Roads is building more roads, you get more road tolls. If the Ministry of Agriculture is working properly, the farmers will produce more and export, and you get more money. If the Ministry of Energy is working well, you're not going to have done so. So if instead of giving the money to the presidency to spend, they are just consumption. You give it to those that will reproduce, those that will do into investment, capital investment, like roads, like education, like Ministry of Housing, to provide houses for people like you and myself to get a house to sleep in. People, doing so will stop if the Ministry of Power is working and working effectively. If Ministry of Petroleum is working very well, we should have the gas projects moving on, and we'll have cheap gas all over. That's what I'm saying. But for 2016, trust me, if any government tells you
gas ever cheap, he said cheap gas.
Yes, it won't be cheap if we manage it properly. For 2016, trust me, if any government says that, well, they are going to spend within the budget, they're just deceiving the people of Ghana. The same trend is continuing. The president is going around dishing out cars to people the same way he did in 2012. I was in Saboba, he gave the chief a car, I gave Koya a car, Go went to Tamale, giving them cars all over. Where are you getting that kind of money from?
Now, let's look at the budget. Now, there's a statement has been read, and going forward, Parliament will be debating it. And the general impression of the NPP is that it's a debt goat budget. I don't even know why you got that name. But the finance minister, however, sees the budget as a consolidating process towards a higher medium term. And the budget is drawn under the authored program of the IMF. Now, is it expected that you will be committed to promoting fiscal discipline? What would you say about that?
I've already told you that if anybody expects that the minister and the president in an election year, especially knowing the track record, will commit to fiscal discipline, the president should reassess his thinking. It's not going to happen. And trust me, it won't happen. They would overshoot. Even this year, which is not an election year, they have overshot the budget. The deficit is higher than what they expected. Not to talk of the election. The election year, it will be worse off, far worse off. The budget itself has been presented, and we tagged it the dead goat budget because it's a budget that's very insensitive. It's a budget that the government says,
but you're not answering me. I mean, I think it's isn't it to promote fiscal discipline?
It's not.
All these
I've already told you that the budget itself is not there to promote fiscal discipline. It's the implementation agencies and the human beings that will have to adhere to what is in the budget. And we are saying that it's not going to happen.
Why is that?
Because that's their track record. The NDC, all they think about is winning an election. And they will do everything to win that election.
Don't you focus? I mean, isn't that what you do to the NDC?
We focus on good governance.
Exactly, but you also want to come into government.
We want to come to good governance, come to power by having good governance. And if we are in opposition, by having alternatives. When President Kufuor was in power, he always said, and we supported him with that, and that's the principle of the NPP.
Right.
Rule well, give the country your best shot, develop the people, and they will reward you. When you are in opposition, offer alternatives. Point out the mistake the government is going to do.
What are the alternatives?
Offer alternatives.
Fantastic.
And the people will...
Where are your alternatives then? Can I ask that?
The alternatives we have always said are very clear and loud. We said we will transform the economy. The NDC is not transforming the economy.
That's
we are still in. That's the first alternative.
Okay, and the second one. Great.
Transform the economy. If you don't transform Ghana's economy to an economy that has started to manufacture, and you consume the way we are consuming, forget about it. We're not going to go anywhere because we are turning into a service country and consumption country. Everything that we bring in, from toothpick to toothpaste to everything, is imported. Everything. Everything is imported. Even food, chicken, everything is imported.
You are very...
That's the first thing. Come to the second one.
When NPP was here from 2000, did you produce any toothpaste? Did you produce it? Who produced it?
I said we did. If you know the MPP philosophy very well, we support small businesses. We are the party of the small businesses. So that's how come that we're supporting small businesses to be producing. That's why it got to a stage that young girls and boys were chasing people around with bank loans. And they were calling you, do you need a bank loan? Dad, do you need a bank loan? Hi, my dear, do you need a bank loan?
No, but they come around still.
Where?
They do. The banks do come around.
You go to the bank, the interest rate will chase you away. Nobody's interested in that.
Run away.
The second one, second alternative that this country really needs is to fight corruption. Trust me. If we don't fight corruption, corruption has become... The people of Ghana have now accepted that corruption is now part and parcel of their everyday life. They don't even know that they are corrupt. They are so corrupt they don't even know that they are corrupt. It's part of the system. It's part of the system. You go and a policeman will stop you and say, "Oh, the mosquitoes in the night." And so, "Master, can I buy mosquito coil?" He's just looking for money from you. It's corruption. Okay, the man is a contractor, and somebody puts a certificate down unless he brings something before somebody will sign for him, and then the person signs. And so he expects that if you don't give him, he blames you why you haven't given him something. I don't know why you get what I'm saying.
I guess it's a dead goat budget. It's dead.
Everything is dead. Dead goat budget. Dead goat syndrome is affecting everybody.
No.
3, and the third one, and I can keep naming the alternatives. You have to get our young people employed. You have to do everything to create job avenues for our boys. We are producing thousands of graduates. Every year we produce over 350,000 people into the system. The private sector is able to recruit just about 50,000 plus government. The rest are walking around. And you keep piling and opening private schools and piling them. What do you think they are doing to the economy? Meanwhile, you are not producing...
Are you saying we shouldn't produce more schools for students?
Then in that case, open up the economy and let them get jobs. Look, in America, for example, when they faced a similar problem in Japan, they were not expecting people to say that everybody...
Why would you want to compare us to America?
No, but we need to learn. That's why we are learning from, and we need to learn. People who have done it before, so you learn from them. Listen, if you think that your economy is not big enough, then begin to produce entrepreneurs. Begin to support people to do their own work. Right. Why do you think me, Dominic, I want to work for somebody? I should be able to work for myself, but I need somebody to be able to push me to get to that.
We'll be right back.
The Hard Truth, Season 9 with Akosia Konedu. Proudly brought to you by EcoBank.
At EcoBank, we see a great future. One that's full of opportunity for those who want to be the best. With over 1,000 branches of a single bank across 33 African countries. It's a future where trade can flourish without boundaries. The future is breathtaking, with enormous cross-border investments helping business and government build new infrastructure, while individuals achieve their ambitions right across Africa. The future is Pan-African, and EcoBank is the Pan-African bank.
Now, agriculture in 2013 was 5.7, and 2014 4.6, in 2015 0.41, industry 6.6, that was in 2013 0.8. In 2014 and 2015 is 9.1, and services 10.1, 5.6, and 4.7. Now, there is a sharp drop in growth performance of the agricultural sector and an increase in industry performance. Now, does this indicate that there is a shift of government focus in the agricultural sector?
You know, we have a little problem with how the statistical service got a 9% for industry in this doom. So, we're going to question it in our debate. We don't understand. Apart from the oil services, the oil sector, even with that, the thing has dropped. It's not like before. It was like 2011. So we have a little problem with that. We want to really find out how they got it. What are the standard? What is it that they put in there to get? So leave the industry one out. Two, it's just amazing how agriculture keeps dropping to the extent that today is 0 point something. 70% of our people are engaged in agriculture in one way or the other. Whether at the production level in that chain, or whether at the marketing level or the consumption level, 70% are engaged in it. And today agriculture is 0 point something percent. That's a big indictment on us as a country, and in particular this government. That is the highest form of incompetence of anybody, because the biggest industry your people are engaged in is in agriculture, and that is that one that has been dropping for the last 3 years. It's not good for us as a country.
The Minister of Finance also indicates in the budget that government seeks to engage 100,000 youth in 6 different areas. Now, waste and sanitation, security services, community teaching assistant, community health and assistance and all that. And I don't know, the president already has used this in his campaign tour. You know that. Now, the expectation has always been that these interventions will be most beneficial to participants. Let's look at the GIDA, NYEP, and the research programs. What happened to them? Let's look at the sustainability of these programs. What would you think to them?
You see, have you heard of the word GIDA before?
Yeah.
That's it. We just came to Parliament changing it. So yeah, Youth Entrepreneur Agency. That's all that it is. It's the same thing. It's following the same model. What happened to GIDA? It's going to be the same thing. In any case,
the program
because of elections,
covered, but this is just specific sanitation.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. The models in GIDA were started. 6 models were started by the MPP, and the increase is 24. 6 models, the same 6 models that they have mentioned. MPP started with 6 models. By the time NDC came, they increase it and increase it and increase it. All they are doing is for elections. You want to bring 100,000 youth for election, you can't pay them. Where are they going to get the money from? In the first place, even the current people, you are unable to pay them. Now you have to go to the secondary market to borrow money and pay them. That's all you want to do. Because the minimum you can pay somebody now from government is about 4 million. 400,000 Ghana. 400 Ghana. If you take 100,000, you on average you pay them 400,000. You are talking about 400 million a month. Where is the government going to get that kind of money from? If they have that, won't be in doing so. We don't know that. If they have 400,
it's not sustainable. It's like
they know it. It's for election purposes. They will pick them, use them for election. After that, they will throw them out of the job.
The Hard Truth, Season 9 with Akosia Konedu. Proudly brought to you by EcoBank.